What if nothing in your life has ever been random? Not the numbers you keep seeing, not that coincidence you brushed off. What if those were messages, deliberate signals, trying to wake you up? Because the universe isn't silent, it's speaking. Every single day, through synchronicities. In this video, you'll uncover how reality uses hidden patterns to guide, align, and reshape your path, if you learn how to listen. The people who understand this don't just feel lucky, they begin to co-create their future. So if you've ever felt something was trying to reach you, you were right. Watch until the end. Comment your weirdest coincidence and subscribe to unlock the signs you've been ignoring. From the moment you were born, a system was already waiting for you, not to nurture you, but to condition you. You weren't raised to remember who you are. You were trained to forget. And that's no accident. It's a program designed to make sure you never notice what reality is actually doing. You were told to trust in facts, logic, science. You were told that coincidence means nothing, that intuition is foolish, that patterns are random. But deep down, you always knew that wasn't true. You felt it, those moments too precise to be chance. Those signs that appear right when you need them, that invisible thread pulling you towards something greater. And yet, you were told to ignore it, to call it random, to explain it away. And you did. We all did. Because the system doesn't want you to believe in meaning. Because once you see the pattern, you can't be controlled. So they buried it, replaced your inner knowing with external rules, replaced curiosity with obedience, replaced mystery with mechanism. But here's the mind bomb. What you call random is actually design. What you've dismissed as noise is signal. The universe has been speaking to you all along, but you were trained to go deaf. Synchronicities are not glitches. They are messages. And every time you ignore them, you reinforce the illusion that you are small, separate, and alone. That's the biggest lie of all. But what if I told you this entire time? The signs never left. Only your awareness did. And once you start to see them again, not just notice them, but truly decode them, reality begins to change. It bends, it aligns, it responds, because the moment you realize that nothing is random, is the moment your old reality begins to collapse. And that collapse, it's not destruction, it's an invitation. You've been taught that synchronicities are just coincidences, cute little patterns your brain invents to feel special. That they're harmless, accidental, and meaningless. But that's not just false, it's dangerous. Because if you keep dismissing what's meant for you, you'll never answer the call of who you truly are. Synchronicities are not coincidences, they're contact. They are the invisible hand of reality tapping you on the shoulder, saying, "Look again." A thought enters your mind, and that exact person texts you. You glance at the clock, and it's 11:11. You think about quitting, and someone says exactly what you needed to hear. These aren't random, they're aligned. And the more you open your perception, the more they appear. Why? Because they're reflections, precise echoes of your own vibration, bouncing back from the walls of the unseen world. Carl Jung knew this. He called them meaningful coincidences. But they're more than that. They're proof that there's a hidden architecture beneath everything, a blueprint of consciousness, a web of intelligence running through all things. And synchronicities, they're how it signals you. Let that sink in. You're not lost. You're being guided. But only if you pay attention. Still think it's wishful thinking. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." That's not metaphor. That's instruction. Synchronicities happen when your frequency tunes to reality's signal, not the other way around. So the question isn't, are synchronicities real? The question is, why have you been so desperately trained to ignore them? Because if you realized they were real, if you truly saw them, you'd start asking questions you're not supposed to ask. You'd start seeing patterns you weren't meant to see. You'd start remembering that you're not a spectator here. You're a participant. And once you start participating, the entire game changes. But how exactly does reality send these messages? What's the mechanism behind the curtain? Let's go deeper. Most people think reality is loud, dramatic, explosive, obvious. But the truth is, reality whispers. It doesn't shout. It nudges. It aligns. It subtly shifts in ways you were never taught to notice. But once you tune in, you'll see. The universe has been leaving breadcrumbs all along. Let's get brutally clear. Your reality isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. Your brain filters billions of signals every second. But only a few reach your conscious mind. Why? Because of the RAS, the reticular activating system, the part of your brainstem that decides what you notice. It's like an inner gatekeeper. And guess who programs it? You. Through your beliefs, your fears, your focus. Ever bought a car and then started seeing that exact model everywhere? It's not magic. It's mechanism. The cars were always there. You just weren't tuned to them until now. The same is true for synchronicities. They've always been present. You just didn't allow yourself to see them because your RAS wasn't programmed to recognize meaning. It was programmed to see patterns as accidents. But here's the twist. When you change your focus, reality begins to mirror it, not metaphorically, literally. Quantum physics shows us that observation affects outcome. The act of attention bends probability. And when you mix this with the law of vibration, the idea that everything is energy, you begin to realize something shocking. Your thoughts are frequencies, and those frequencies tune your world. You think in lack, you see scarcity. You think in alignment, you see signs. Synchronicities aren't just showing up randomly. They're responding to your state. This is not passive. It's a dialogue. Your mind is the microphone. Reality is the speaker. So when you feel like reality is silent, maybe you've stopped speaking with intention. But the moment you change the question, the universe changes the answer. And once you realize you've been unconsciously programming your reality every single day, you'll want to know what else has been shaping your fate. Without your permission, the answer will shake you. Let's tell the hard truth. The universe never stopped sending you signs. You stopped seeing them. Not because you're blind, but because you've been conditioned to ignore them. You were trained to look outward, not inward. To trust logic, not instinct. To follow rules, not resonance. And so, when synchronicities appear as whispers, nudges, echoes, you hesitate. You second guess. You chalk it up to coincidence. You hear the signal, but you don't move. And here's the consequence. Every sign you ignore delays the life meant for you. Because reality does not repeat itself forever. It offers the doorway once, twice, maybe 3 times. After that, it closes. Not as punishment, but as protection. Because if you won't act, you're not ready. And that is how you stay trapped. Not in a cage of steel, but in a loop of doubt, of hesitation, of waiting for more proof. But the universe doesn't speak in proof. It speaks in patterns, and patterns require trust. That's why some people never get lucky, because luck isn't luck. It's alignment acted upon. Most people live their entire lives missing the signal because they want it to be loud, obvious, undeniable. But synchronicities don't operate on volume. They operate on vibration. So if you've been stuck, if your life feels like rinse and repeat, That's not coincidence. That's your resistance creating stagnation. And if you don't break it now, it hardens into a belief, into an identity, into your reality. So if you've ever felt that twinge, that subtle pull to look deeper, to ask, what if this means something? This is your moment. Don't scroll, don't skip, don't doubt. If you don't do this now, you stay trapped. Like this video. Leave a comment if you've ever seen a sign and ignored it. And subscribe. Because we're not just decoding patterns, we're remembering how to listen, and the more you listen, the more you'll begin to see. But once you start seeing, really seeing, something even stranger happens. Reality doesn't just send signs, it starts to move with you. There's a moment when everything shifts, not because your circumstances change, but because your perception does. You start seeing the pattern. You stop calling it coincidence. You stop explaining it away. And instead, you lean in. And that's when the magic begins. Because synchronicities don't just appear, they multiply. Like ripples in still water. The more attention you give them, the more they respond. The more you trust, the more they lead. This is the turning point. From spectator to co-creator. You begin to notice the right people show up at the right time. Answers arrive before the question. Doors open, and you realize they were never locked. Reality starts to feel orchestrated, alive, almost playful. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You've tuned yourself into the signal. And that signal, it's intelligent, it's responsive, and it's been waiting. Synchronicities are feedback. They show you the state of your vibration in real time. Are you in alignment? They flood in. Are you stuck in fear? They vanish. This isn't spirituality, it's awareness. It's the physics of consciousness. And the more you align, the more your life feels like flow. You stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop fighting against the current. And you realize you were the current all along. That's why synchronicities feel so strange at first, because they contradict what you were taught. That reality is separate, cold, mechanical, but then you experience it yourself. You see it too many times to deny, and you're never the same again. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to sleep. And yet, just as you begin to dance with this intelligence, a deeper question arises, one that shakes you at your core. Who's actually behind all of this? Because if the signs are real, then someone or something is sending them. And that changes everything. If synchronicities are messages, then someone or something is sending them. And once that question hits you, it doesn't let go. Because now you're not just decoding signs, you're confronting the source. Is it your higher self, the version of you that already sees the path ahead, whispering back to guide the one who's still walking it? Is it the collective unconscious? A vast psychic field shared by all human beings, sending pulses of wisdom through dreams, intuition, and chance encounters. Or is it something even bigger? A divine intelligence, God, the universe, the simulation. Call it what you want, but you felt it. The moment you pause and the wind shifts, the moment your question floats into space and an answer arrives. This is not random. What you're sensing is the intersection between you and all that it is, between your intention and the response of reality itself. And once you taste that connection, everything becomes electric. Every number you see, every song that plays, every stranger's words, you realize they're not noise, they're signal, and the sender may not be outside of you at all. Here's the paradox. The one leaving the signs might be the same one following them. You are not just the receiver of reality. You are a participant in its creation. And that participation runs deeper than thought. It runs on energy, on alignment, on trust. The question is no longer who is sending the messages. The question becomes, are you ready to answer them? Because these signs aren't just curiosities, they're callings. And the longer you ignore the call, the louder it gets. Until one day, it shouts, and your entire world shifts. But here's the key. You don't have to wait for that shout. You can begin listening now. You can begin acting now. And if you do, synchronicities won't just guide you, they'll empower you. But how? That's what we'll uncover next. Now that you know the universe is speaking to you, the question becomes, are you ready to listen and respond? Because recognizing synchronicities is only half the path. The other half is this: what you do with them. So how do you decode a synchronicity? Start with awareness. Don't dismiss the moment. Pause it. When a repeating number, phrase, symbol, or strange coincidence appears, ask yourself, what was I just thinking? What was I feeling? What decision am I facing? The universe speaks in context. Your energy sets the question. The sign is the answer. Next, track the patterns. Keep a journal. Write down every strange alignment, every recurring number, every intuitive hit that later proves true. You'll begin to see the same archetypes showing up, not because reality is broken, but because your mind is waking up. Third, trust the message. This is where most people fail. They see the signs, but do nothing. They want confirmation, clarity, a second opinion. But synchronicities are not consultants. They're catalysts. They don't arrive to comfort you. They arrive to move you. So when you see the sign, act. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if it scares you, because the signal will only stay strong if you follow it. Hesitation weakens the field. Doubt dims the connection. Action reinforces it. And here's the final key. Meaning is personal. The same number might mean freedom to you and fear to someone else. The universe isn't sending you a universal message. It's sending you a message tailored to your vibration, your journey, your now. So stop waiting for someone else to interpret it. Your intuition already knows. Synchronicities are the breadcrumbs. But you still have to walk the path. And if you do, you'll stop feeling like life is something you endure. You'll start living like someone who co-writes the script. Because the next step isn't just about seeing signs. It's about using them to design your own reality. And that's exactly what we'll uncover next. What if synchronicities weren't just signs, but tools? What if they weren't just guiding you, but waiting for you to guide back? Because here's the truth no one wants to admit. You're not here to follow the pattern. You're here to become it. Reality is not fixed. It's fluid. And synchronicities are the pressure points, places where your intention meets opportunity and the universe says, what do you choose? So choose. Not passively, not later, now. Here's how you begin. Set a clear intention. Don't just wish, declare. Say it out loud, write it down. Speak it like a command to the cosmos. Show me that I'm aligned. Reveal what I need to see. Bring me the path I'm ready for. Then, align your energy. Raise your frequency through presence, gratitude, meditation, breath. This isn't fluff, it's frequency control. The cleaner your signal, the clearer the reply. Finally, act when the signs come. That's the final portal, because synchronicities are not passive gifts, they are doors. But they do not open by themselves. You have to walk through, and when you do, when you start responding to reality, not as a victim, but as a co-creator, you'll notice something wild. The world starts to bend around your intention. Time rearranges, opportunities stack, People appear, and you're no longer manifesting. You're dancing with existence. This is the art of alignment, the forgotten skill of ancient mystics, the natural birthright of every human being. But the longer you wait, the softer the signal becomes, until it fades, and you fall back asleep. So don't. This is your wake-up call. Like this video if you're done ignoring the signs. Leave a comment with the synchronicity that cracked your illusion. And subscribe. Because here, we don't just believe in energy, we live it. The universe is not random, it's responsive. And the next move is yours. You've felt it. The numbers, the nudges, the perfect timing. They weren't glitches, they were callings. And now, you know, the question is no longer, are synchronicities real? It's, will you finally listen? Because if you ignore the signs, the noise returns. But if you follow them, the pattern unfolds. You were never meant to wander blindly. You were designed to align. So like this video if something inside you just woke up. Comment the moment that broke your illusion. And subscribe to join the seekers rebuilding reality, one ancient truth at a time. The universe has been speaking to you all along. Now it's your turn to speak back.